So, it is my honor to introduce today's opening keynote speaker this morning, Dr. Susie Hansley. As leaders, we're used to making decisions with incomplete information, but how do we lead effectively when AI is changing so fast? Dr. Susie Hansley is going to help us with that today. Susie is a stress resilience expert who works with leaders and organizations to create high-performing, engaged, and resilient teams. A self-described geek, that's her word. Susie holds a Ph.D. from Brown and a master's in technical communication from NC State. So, okay. All right. She's also a TED speaker and has spoken on stress resilience for organizations, including Duke Health Technology Solutions, Blue Shield of California, and Google. Susie lives in Durham with her husband, Bill, who is himself a techie and geek. She likes to say that she loves tech people so much she married one. All right, today Susie will share with us the key to handling unprecedented change so that we can lead strategically in her keynote, Agile Leadership in the Age of AI. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Susie Hansley to the stage.
Hello, NC Tech. Hello, everyone. It is so good to be here. Curious, how many of you are Wolfpack? Anyone else here? Woo-hoo! Yeah. Whether or not you went to NC State or not, you're all part of the same pack. We are all members of a community that are high achievers who want to work together to achieve our goals. One of the things is, I want to tell you a little bit about why I was so excited to be here. There's three things that made me excited. One, as Sean mentioned, I love me some tech people. Second, I am falling in love with NC Tech. I just recently became a member this year, and I'm having such a great time learning from all of you and contributing. And I will say the third reason is hello, Pinehurst. My husband, Bill, who is serving as my AV person today back there, him and I were here about a year and a half ago, and we were here to celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary. So it's super exciting to be back here with all of you, getting to talk about Agile leadership in the age of AI. Now, I want to be clear about what I mean by Agile. I'm not talking capital A Agile, I'm talking lowercase Agile. You know, like Neo, dodging bullets, kicking butt. Everybody familiar with the Matrix, I hope? I am in a room full of tech people, so. And here's the thing, what I'll say is that for you, it may not be physical agility. It's really going to be about mental agility. It's that ability to keep your head and navigate strategically when a lot of things are coming at you. But in this age of AI, you're all finding that there's a lot more bullets, and they're coming a lot faster. How many of you would agree? So I wanted to explore more how this impacts you in this room. And so I have the privilege of interviewing 3 of your NC Tech fellow members. One was Sean. I also had Ryan Abel from Atomic Object, and we have Amanda Barkus from Corebridge Financial. They were so generous with their time and their insights that I would like to just take a moment and give them a round of applause. So here's what I learned from them. Very similarly to what Sean said, technology isn't the problem. What they found most challenging about AI is the speed of which they have to work, the feeling of constantly reacting. And that feeling means they don't have enough time for the other things that matter, things that get squeezed out. They mention things like time for strategy, for thinking about strategy as opposed to reacting. They mention things like developers never having enough time to catch up with the new tools as they come because they have to keep going. And they also mentioned that leaders don't have time or don't make the time to communicate things clearly to the rest of their people so they can bring them along. Now, I'm not gonna lie, you're in a challenging situation, which is why being a member of NC Tech and attending events like this leadership summit make a difference. As Sean said, this is an opportunity for all of you to connect and learn about the different ways to address these changes. My job is to teach you how to handle those bullets. Because when you can handle those bullets, it becomes far easier for you to move and think agilely when a lot of things are coming at you. So that's my goal for today. Now, before I can share what that looks like, I'm gonna have to do something to change a perspective. It's a perspective that we all have, and I'm just gonna give you a red pill. How many of you are familiar with this scene from The Matrix? Great, I am in the right room. In the scene from The Matrix, Neo is offered a blue pill and a red pill. The blue pill will take him back to his normal existing reality, where he has to continue to deal with different challenges the same way he has before. But if he takes the red pill, he's gonna learn about the underlying reality that's impacting him. And by learning about that, it is going to help him deal with those challenges better. So I'm about to give you the red pill. Technology, as we said, isn't the problem. And even people, I know we talk about people, that's not even the problem. The real problem is biology. We're all collectively triggered by all the potential threats and challenges that AI poses for us. That is triggering our nervous system to secrete stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, and it puts us into fight, flight, and freeze. And the main narrative that I know impacts all of you, there's a lot of fear narratives. We're gonna lose our jobs, there's gonna be autonomous weapons, the economy's gonna burst because this is really a bubble. That's my personal one. But the one that I know most impacts y'all as leaders is gonna be this one. Do not fall behind. Embrace AI or be left behind. How many of you, when you see that statement, feel a little bit of pressure? Can you raise your hands for me? Right? It's a very scary, threatening idea. Keep up or be left behind. Now, there is some validity to the message, for sure. As business leaders, if you recognize that AI is going to make an impact on speed of business and all those different things, and if you know that other people in your business are using it, of course you want to use it. Otherwise you lose in competitiveness as part of your business. The only problem is that a statement like this puts it in such black and white terms. It's just do or die. And so that's going to innately cause us to feel triggered. And when leaders are triggered and they don't realize they are, that's when they make poor decisions. They get into black and white thinking. They don't listen to other opinions because they think theirs is the right one. And probably the most consequential one for y'all is that they get impatient. Impatience is one of the best signs that somebody's triggered. And impatience plays a big role in AI failure rates. There was a Gallup study that just came out in April where they looked at almost 800 leaders in Pinehurst to find out what were the things that caused projects to fail. And what they found is that in 57% of the cases, it was too much too soon. And that's what that looks, here, let me tell you what that looks like. So, say you have an impatient leader, it's like, oh my God, we can't be left behind. So, they push for an initiative, maybe that some other industry said, this is gonna save you and solve your problem, and they push it. And they're expecting that this thing is gonna work fast. But when it stops, when it no longer works as fast as they want it to, they lose confidence. And so they ditch that project and they jump to another one. I'm curious, how many of you have seen that happen either in your own or other organizations? Yeah. There's another example that I also heard about. There was, how many of you were here last year, by the way, for this? So you probably remember your opening keynote last year, who talked about the challenge with middle management. So a year ago, last August, there was a Wiley report that looked at how people were handling the stress. And what they found is that one of the biggest impatient challenges, sorry if my mic keeps going out, but is that one of the biggest challenges that's driven by impatience isn't just trying to rush things like a single project. It's gonna be rushing project after project after project without giving your people, particularly your middle managers, time to recover. So what's happening is it kind of looks like, ooh, we're getting stuff done. Look, we're winning the AI race. But what you're doing is a short-term solution that's gonna cost you later when you burn out your people, when they're not able to think critically and agilely, and you're gonna lose business. So those are kind of the two big things where impatience, leadership impatience shows up, and where leadership impatience is coming from that fear of being left behind. Somebody who put this really well is a writer, leader, consultant named Barry O'Reilly. This is what he said. The biggest blocker to AI success is never the technology. It's the operating model of the humans trying to use it. Not technology, operating model. However, I have some good news for you today. I'm going to share with you how to notice when you're triggered so that you are not reactive. And that matters because it's not that we shouldn't get triggered, it's not that we won't get triggered, right? The fear of being left behind, of something new coming our way, is going to happen forever until we're dead. That's just part of life and that's part of business. But when you get really good, you can stop going from dodging bullets to pausing them. And it's when you pause them that you can then evaluate them and decide which ones matter and which ones can be swept aside. So who's ready to learn how to deal with your bullets? Yeah, okay, we got one person. All right, good. All right, so let's talk bullets here. I'm going to teach you a process that I call the nervous system reset. So what that does is it helps you stop being reactive so that you can pause the bullets and evaluate and make better decisions. And it has 3 steps. Step 1, A for awareness. Step 2, B for body, which I'll explain more later. And step 3, C for clarity. So once you do these 3 steps, you have now effectively paused the bullets. And when you do these, you can then go on to step 4, which is D for decision. That's when you decide which bullets you can sweep away, which ones you want to do, and how you do it. Here's what's important about this. Most of us, when we get reactivated, we go straight to D, right? We don't pause, we're like, oh my God, I gotta fix this. And that's especially an issue for smart high achievers, because we think we can solve everything. And what I have found, the more people I learn in tech, the more I realize that part of that responsiveness that you have does come from having a sense of, I can figure this out. And over time, you get really good at figuring things out. But I really think that the metaphor of the frog in the hot water is a good one to think about. That when you are so used to responding quickly to everything, and you're in that water, and the heat starts to come up, you don't even know that you're reacting. And it just gets to the point where now all you're doing is reacting. That's the hot water. And so the opportunity here is to learn a new skill, which is to pause, so that you can reset and then make better decisions. So let's go to step 1. A for awareness. It makes sense that this would be the first step, wouldn't it? If you can't tell you triggered, how are you gonna pause it? Yeah? And so I'm gonna teach you a game that'll help you with this. How many of you like games? Who here is competitive? Good. You wanna use that for this game. Here's the game you're gonna learn. How quickly can I tell when I'm triggered? Who's triggered right now by this person? If you could tell, yay, you're winning the game. Because it's this is gonna show you how we can get triggered by other people who are triggered. They don't have to say anything. We feel it. So, I'm gonna get rid of her for the moment so I can explain this. So in order to win the game of how quickly can I tell that I'm triggered, you want to learn what your tells are. How many of you play poker and are familiar with the word tells? Okay. Well, for those of you who might not be, in poker, a tell is an unconscious physical reaction that a player will have or display when they are bluffing. So if you want to be a good poker player, you want to pay attention to other people's tells, right? But to win this game, you want to know your own tells, because those are the ones that are going to help you interrupt the stress cycle. So I'm going to show you, we're going to do 3 things that I'm going to invite you to do in order to help you win the game. It's a practice, because to get good at anything, you have to practice. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to have you take, in a moment, grab that paper and pen. I'm going to have you start to write down some of your own tells. But in order to help you with that, I'm just going to share some of my own in case they help inspire other ideas. Maybe you can steal some of them, totally fine. We're all animals and we're all human beings, so it is quite likely that we share many of the same common ones. So here's some of the tells that I experience. Some of them are physical. Tight jaw. Shoulders up to my ears. A tight feeling in my chest. I might find myself ruminating. Oh, wait, how do I fix that? Oh no, I need to go back, I need to figure that out. In the middle of the night even, right? How many of you experienced that? Then there's also the tells when I'm interacting with other people. Sometimes I don't notice these, but this is what I start to notice. I start to feel frustrated. I start to feel anxious, which feels very wiggly in my body. I might feel overwhelmed, depending on the trigger. And overwhelmed, it just feels like I'm frozen and not able to concentrate on anything. So those are some of my tells. But I want to share one of my favorite ones, which is that the one that I have really figured out that helps me notice it early and not get escalated to the point of frustration and anger. Because if you catch them earlier, it does not build up. So I learned that one of my tells is I get annoyed at other drivers and at my husband. Here's why you want to know that's a tell for me. I'm from Southern California. I'm a really chill driver. Raleigh does not bother me. And my husband, I adore my husband. So if I'm getting annoyed at other drivers, cursing under my breath, snapping at my husband, sure sign that I'm triggered. And I pause and I do the things that I'm about to teach you. So now I want to give you, let's go ahead and take a few moments, 30 seconds to a minute, and write down your tells. And if you can't think of any now or you want to get more later, go talk to the people who love you. Trust me, they'll tell you. So take a couple moments. I'll just give you another 10 seconds. Great. How many of you, with a show of hands, have at least one tell written down? So I'll make sure everybody has at least one. Okay, most of you do. If you don't, steal somebody else's. So, to get better at the game, here's what you're going to do. Let me see if I can find my remote for a moment. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Too many pockets. So what you're going to do is, you're going to pick from your list of tells, you're going to pick one tell. Then you're gonna commit to noticing it once today. Notice it at the conference. Notice it when I'm talking to you. Because you may get triggered by something I said. And then, once you do that, you're gonna do the third step, which is super important. You're gonna note it out loud to yourself. And here's what it sounds like. I'm feeling X right now, with X being your tell. So, for example, I'm going to use my tell today is anxiety, because I'm in a space where it is likely that I will be anxious. So the way I would say it is, I'm feeling anxious right now. Now, before we do that, I want to answer some questions that you may be thinking of, because these are the questions that most people ask me. First of all, why do I have to say this out loud? The reason we say it out loud is because when we get it out of our head, it actually starts to create more of a connection. It turns on your prefrontal cortex. And the more you do that, the less the trigger is activated. So anything you want to do that will get that prefrontal cortex activated is something that will help you. So when you name it out loud, it's like you're going from I am in this thing to I'm observing this thing. And so that immediately gets the prefrontal cortex going, oh, I am now observing. And similarly, I say I'm feeling because I want you to think about your own tell and think about this when I want you to say it to yourself. I'll say mine and then I want you to think about the difference. There's a big difference between saying, I'm feeling anxious and I'm anxious. I'm feeling anxious versus I'm anxious. When you say I'm feeling, again, you are separating yourself from the emotion. And then that starts to calm you down. Sometimes if we just say, I'm anxious, that actually triggers you more. And similarly, we want to say right now. If you forget to say right now, it's not a big deal, really, as long as you say, I'm feeling X. But if you can say right now, that's also going to interrupt the trigger even more. Because the brain can see that it's observing something in the present. Anytime you do something in the present, nervous system calms down, prefrontal cortex comes back online. So, I'm gonna go ahead, oopsie, I went a little too far there. I'm gonna invite you right now, if you're willing, is to go ahead and stand up. And what we're gonna do right now, all of us together, we're gonna practice saying this. The great thing is, nobody's gonna hear you because everybody else is gonna be saying it, so. All right? So on the count of 3, we're going to say, I'm feeling X right now, with X being your tell. Everybody ready? All right? 1, 2, 3. I'm feeling anxious right now. Awesome. Now, who feels better just doing that? Did it change anything? I might have to have you get more triggered so that I can show you. But that's the idea. Say it out loud. If you're around people that you don't feel comfortable with, say it under your breath. But you're all among friends here, and you all now know what you're doing. So if you feel triggered, go up to somebody and say, I'm feeling frustrated right now. And they will know what you mean, and they will help you, and vice versa. This is going to be the opportunity for you to work together to bring your nervous systems down so you can think more clearly. So thank you for doing that. You can go ahead and have a seat. All right, step 2 is B for body. And body simply means that we're going to do something with our body to get the extra cortisol out. How many of you have seen dogs who are at a standstill? You know, they're going grrr, grrr, and then they start to turn away because they don't really want to fight. And then once they're okay, they start to shake. That's an example of a physical body thing that we can do to release the cortisol. Because when you get triggered, remember, you get all that cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine, glucose, and so you want to reduce it. So I'm going to show you an exercise that's probably a little bit less embarrassing to do in public than shaking like a dog. That exercise is one that you can do discreetly, quickly. It's something that I do all the time when I'm in a meeting, in Zoom, anything like that, okay? So, but before I do it, I'm gonna have to prove to you that it works, so I'm gonna need to trigger you guys for a bit, okay? So I'm gonna ask you to pause and think right now. Maybe close your eyes. I want you to take a moment and think, what's stressing me out right now? What are all the things that are piling up for me because I'm here at this conference? What are all the deadlines that I'm having to manage and juggle? Who are all the people that are frustrating me right now? Everyone feel a little triggered again now? All right, you can open your eyes now. So if you feel, hopefully you feel a little bit triggered, and now I'm gonna show you the exercise. It's called finger rub. So go ahead and put your hand up like this. I want you to start rubbing your thumb and your forefinger. And you want to do it with such careful attention that you can feel the ridges of the one finger as they're rubbing against the ridges of the other. Now continue to do that, and as you continue to do that, go ahead and relax your arm wherever it's comfortable and do it for a few more moments. And now you can stop. Did anybody feel everything go down a little bit? Yeah, we have a couple. Raise your hands. I'm just curious who noticed that things dropped, the trigger dropped a bit. Yeah. And I want to tell you quickly why that works, because there's science behind it. So one of the things is, obviously, when we get out of our heads and into the present, this is a well-known phenomenon, it's going to interrupt stress. That's why meditation, things like anything that's going to get you present matters. But what's really cool about this is that the skin-on-skin contact is generating oxytocin. That is the connection and safety chemical. It's what makes you feel relaxed. And not only that, oxytocin, it's a cortisol buster. It's not just doing the calming, it's going to the cortisol. So this exercise, the finger rub, you're getting a 3-in-1. So if there's nothing else you take with you today, take this with you and share it, because it makes such a huge impact. Now, the last step is going to be clarity. And this is where you've now you're going to take the moment to look at your own triggers and figure out, what triggered me? I can't say much more about it here for you. It's something that I do more deeply to help people understand their particular triggers, if it's particular people at work, if it's particular situations, things like that. But the main thing is that you would ask yourself, why am I triggered? What caused my frustration? Maybe you realize, they delayed a deadline. The deadline is delayed. And then you start to ask yourself, well, why is a delayed deadline triggering me? Because it doesn't have to trigger you. But when you start asking those questions, you start to get answers for, because now I have to go talk to this client. So that was the cause of it. Or, I need to find out more information. I thought it was going to be fine. So you start to get to the real heart of the problem. And you start to realize, there's a decision, an action that I can take to address this issue. So once you do these 3 things, you've now paused the bullets. And that's when you now get to decide. And this is the part, like I said, we often jump to, we don't, instead of doing the other bits, because we don't know that we should, and now you do. But when you jump to this, remember, you're gonna be triggered, so everything's gonna be black and white. Do or die. Do or do not. And when you've done the stress reduction, you now have a capacity to see more possibilities. And it's in this step that you might go ahead and bring other people in. And this is an exercise that I teach. I call it the 6 Ds. Do I do the thing? Do I delegate it? Do I downgrade the quality of it? See, a lot of y'all are perfectionists. B- work is enough. Do I defer it? Maybe it goes to Q4 or next year. Do I divide it? Maybe I can't get every piece done now, so you break up your milestones. And then my absolute favorite, do I delete it? Maybe it's not something that needs to be done. And that takes me to a very important point that I think really comes up when I work with leaders and groups and we do these exercises, is that they start to realize, oh, I was trying to do too much too soon. Oh, I actually need more information. Oh, maybe I think we have more resources than we do. Because resources, it's not just time and money, it's your people's energy. And understanding that, maybe you want to ask more questions to find out what are all the things that people are doing. The other thing is that you start to realize, hey, maybe I can just focus on the things that are going to move the needle instead of trying to do everything everywhere at once. And that brings me to Steve Jobs. This is one of my favorite quotes. People think focus means saying yes to the thing you've got to focus on. But that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to the 100 other good ideas that there are. And you have to pick carefully. Innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. What makes that possible is the nervous system regulation that allows you to pause, evaluate, and recognize not everything is going to move the needle. Not everything is possible for us to do. So when you use nervous system regulation for yourself, for your teams, you start to get clearer faster about what's causing the reactivity or the rush. You get more curious and capable of thinking agilely. And as agile thinkers, not only will you be agile leaders, but you will have agile organizations that don't just survive the threats of AI, but thrive in them. Thank you.